George wants you to finish the Winds of Winter from his notes. He wants you to bring a council of four masters together, YouTubers, Elio and Linda, etc. Would you be on the council? Who is on your council? Oh, um, I mean, I think Elio and Linda would be helpful. I don't know if
I'm not trying to stir up trouble,
yeah.
but you might want to cut Linda from that. Otherwise, you're gonna get a lot of pushback. You're gonna get a lot of pushback.
No,
I've
right.
been saying this for the last year. I got to make that video on that interview Elio did, but I'm
Yeah,
very impressed with the interviewer because he kind of calls Linda out on stuff in front of Elio, and of course Elio's he has to run defense for his wife,
of
otherwise he's
course,
sleeping on the couch.
of course.
But and I would love to ask Elio between us girls. I'm sure he would never answer because I don't know him like
Mm,
that. But like, do you ever sit your wife down and go, "Babe, you got to calm the fuck down. We're tied to this fucking guy. This is our bread right here that we're making from this dude, and you're being
yeah, yeah.
crazy and it's fucking it up." I wonder if he actually sits her down and says that. But no, this is actually a really great question because George doesn't have a counsel. He just everything's on himself. But you
Right.
having all the editors come in and help you out, I think it's made the fanfic amazing.
No, no. I mean, yeah, yeah. There's definitely like the editors I have and um, but I mean, other than Elio, I don't know how helpful. Like at some point you have enough knowledge where you're like, okay, I think we got it covered. And then it's about like I'd be looking for like professional writers that can mimic George's style to get the speed of it out. Um,
Mm,
it's not that like that's the thing is like it's not that I can't produce George R. Martin like we can't produce things that are equal to George R. Martin's like ability. It's just that we can't do it very fast. Apparently George can't do it either. But like yeah, but he could at one time, but like that's the main thing is it's just the time. Like it takes us a lot longer to do what a writer could do much like a professional writer could do much quicker, you know. Um,
Well, the other problem is that what this person is saying here, like George wants you to finish. He wants you to bring a council of. Can you scroll up the chat a little bit? Lore
yeah.
masters, YouTubers, etc. Ilya Linda, who's on your council? Do you really need anybody on your council? Would you like realistically? Would you even need like someone like Trey or me or whoever the fuck else? Because I feel like the only people you would need are people who know George, have spoken to George, have hung out with George. So Elio is probably
Yeah.
the only guy you need, realistically.
Yeah, no, but there's certainly um at some point you do get your head like I you know my head gets up my own ass, and like and I forget that like the rest of the world uh has not read this 5,000 times. So like I'm very fearful, for example, when I release the Fool chapter. The Fool chapter is very complicated, okay? It begins in fucking Volantis talking about triarchs with crazy names that, and then they're mentioning like all the happenings in Slaver's Bay with like wise masters and Lazarine and Skahaz, and then we start talking about the pirates on the Rhoyne, and then we jump back to Old Town and we're talking about Euron's invasion and the Citadel and like fire mages and finding a mother house and making references to like some random girl that got sent to a convent in a Clash of Kings. Like it's really it's a lot, and there's no like summary, and so I was very fearful that someone would read that, like a non-fan, and be like, I have no idea what this is about. Like what is this? Um,
Actually, I think I have your council. I have your small council of for wins. Like
yeah,
anybody, you Elio, you have to have Elio.
Mhm.
Daniel Abraham, because Daniel Abraham knows what happens at the end. George told him the
Okay,
last
he's a
page
good
of
writer
Dream of
too. He's a
Spring.
fucking excellent writer, and he
Daniel
writes like
Abraham
George.
and one more person, your editor Will.
Sure. I mean, I feel like I would want V2 and Taylor too.
Of
Um,
course.
they catch a lot, and they're good writers too. Actually, the so I mean that's what I would do. Like, yeah, I feel like I could do if I had those four. If I had just Taylor V2 and Will, like, yeah, I could do everything. If we like all quit our jobs and we're given $1 million each, and this is our full time job, like we could do it. Like, it's like
You're gonna need Elio and Abraham to like rein you in, because
right. I
they
mean,
know
yeah,
whether or not Quentin is alive.
right. But
Because this isn't your version of wins, this is George's version of wins. That's what the super chat is
yeah,
trying to say.
but I think it's also helpful to have laymen, people that are like, well, I have only read the story once and this confused me.
Hmm.
And I think that's one of the things that I'm probably lacking is that sort of like stepping back and being like, what's going, like, this needs to be explained more. Okay. Because the Winds of Winter fanfic is like, you're fucking jumping right in. You know, this is like, no, we're not explaining
Well,
anything.
it's the sixth book, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Even though George's chapters, like his sample chapters, sum stuff up a bit. You know, like they rehash, and it's like there's very little rehashing from in the fanfic because there's just no
They
fucking
re
time.
they rehash because he forgot. He's got some more rehash.
So yeah, I told you that um I told you that I watched Weapons.
Oh, that's right. You lied. I thought it was okay. I didn't tell you it was the greatest thing ever. I told you it was okay. I
Really?
Yeah, it was fine. Whatever. It was fine.
No, I thought it was fucking brilliant, man. I thought it was like
Oh
so
yeah.
well directed and so well acted. Oh my god! And like the perspective shift, like, oh my god. You know, the ending was fine.
I think it was
Um,
alright.
the ending was all
He
right.
might do a prequel to it about the main the villain, the origins of the villain. So we'll see
Oh,
how
that's
that
too
works.
bad. No, the less we know, the better. I almost feel
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, her motivations, and I mean, they didn't explain it very much, but um, and you know, some people are like, what did you read into it, like in a parable political kind of sense, you know, like, you know, did you focus on the mass shooter kind of thing, the mass shootings in school kind of thing, the alcoholism thing, like the addiction, like what is the weapon in the movie? Is the weapon, you know, the gun, is the weapon the alcohol, is the like, what's the weapon in the story, you know, because um like what statements are being made about like drug abuse and alcoholism, and I mean there's a lot of debate, you know, on what exactly they're trying to say, but it's it's like bits here and there. But I read an interview where he's like, yeah, there's little bits here and there, but you're mainly just supposed to focus on the alcoholism. I was like, really? Because Josh Brolin walks out of his house and there's a huge like a huge semi-automatic weapon in the sky. Like, I was like, anyway, I thought it was a great movie. Like, that was a great movie.
I didn't like. I thought the answer to the mystery was kind of lame. I thought it was like something else completely, but
I did too.
whatever.
I did too. Rather than it like legitimately just being like, I mean, spoiling the movie, it's just being like legitimately a witch.
Mm.
Like legitimately that was the answer. Like they accuse her of being a witch at at the beginning of the movie, and then it's just like a different woman. That's it. You know, and like, does it really make sense that nobody's uh doorbell cameras like caught those kids all running to their house? Like, come on. Like, come on.
I
Nobody
would have
else.
rather have been like a nat. I'll take aliens over witch. I don't know. Witch just
Hmm.
seems like kind of lame. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, you're right because the answer is like, what's the answer to this mystery? Well, it's magic. Oh,
Hmm.
yeah, like, oh, it's magic. Okay.
Aliens, government experiment, anything but Witch. Witch was just really lame. I don't know. Also, by the way, something I've noticed about the people who really like weapons, everyone who really loved it already has kids. And everyone who's kind of on it don't have kids. It's something I noticed. So,
Oh, I mean, it makes it just much more intense.
right.
Like the loss and pain that the teacher and the father are feeling.
100%.
Yeah, when making their performances like so incredible, just so well acted. Oh my god.
The mystery was great until the end. I'm sorry. I don't mean to harp on it too
Yeah,
much,
yeah, I
but
get it. I get what you're saying.